in your life where everything around you, logic or past history, tells you that normally something doesn't work or something isn't going to work. Like, for example, if so many different things in history may have given you evidence that something is not going to work, but then there's something inside your gut that tells you that you don't feel that way, that you know that X, Y, or Z is going to happen and that it's going to be good and that you need to pursue it. You need to go after it. I've had a couple of them in my life. AYS Sports was one of those, to take this thing full time. But I will say this, against what would be national logic of the hire of Kyle Williams, I absolutely love it. You need someone who is loyal to this place, who will be loyal to this place, won't leave this place because of a paycheck, won't leave this place because of petty BS, who will give every single ounce of his being to this place. We are live. We have lots we have to discuss. In case you missed it, Kyle Williams is going to be your next defensive line coach. Wilson Alexander and myself both had, and you can ask Wilson, we had discussed about this. We had heard that this was going to be going through today. Wilson Alexander also confirming the news. We're going to talk about Kyle Williams. At the end of the show, we're going to bring in your phone calls. We're going to ask you, what do you think about Kyle Williams and him being hired as the next defensive line coach? But back to the point that I was going to make here in this opening monologue. Everybody does us a favor, by the way, and hits the like and share. You share all those groups on Facebook. You hit the subscribe button. You share on YouTube. Something in my gut is telling me, against all conventional logic when it comes to football, that this Kyle Williams thing is going to work. There were three big things that LSU needed. Number one, you need consistency along your defensive line. You don't necessarily have the fear of another team coming down here and taking a guy like Kyle Williams from you, because he's not going to go anywhere. You need the consistency more than you need anything at LSU football right now. At the defense, especially in that interior, you need the consistency and a guy that can come in here and develop. You have got some talent in that room in the interior defensive line. You got a five-star guy like Don McKinley. Nobody should be more excited about this than Don McKinley and pretty much the entire defensive line room. A guy that spent 183 games in the NFL with multiple seasons, 5 seasons to be exact, where he had double-digit tackles for loss, a season with double-digit sacks as an interior defensive lineman, a guy that had damn near 50 sacks in the NFL, and I'm supposed to believe that he's not going to come in here and absolutely develop that room after I saw a guy for 4 years as a defensive coordinator. Oh, well, Blake, it's in high school. You're right. But a guy that developed at a very high level. You're still developing kids. I could make the argument it's more difficult to develop high school kids than it is to develop college ones, especially the caliber of guys that you want to go and get. Now, I know what all of you are thinking. I know what all of you are saying, and the biggest question mark that all of you have. Well, Blake, what about recruiting? And look, that is to be determined. But there's one thing that LSU now, if you're going to make the hire of Kyle Williams as your defensive line coach in that interior, you got to shelter him and you have to be behind him and giving him everything that he needs. He can't be outbid by any of these guys that he goes after. You have a kid in North Louisiana that's not looking favorable for you right now in this 2026 class. Kyle Williams' first phone call has got to be to him, and you got to do what you got to do to build that room. I have said it once. I've said it 1 billion times. You are giving up too many yards on the ground. Way too many yards on the ground in these high-profile SEC football games. You know it. I know it. You want to debate me on it? I'm sorry that your feelings get hurt when I say it. It's the truth. I think this man can come in here and do it. Now, again, Blake, Blake's got the purple and gold glasses on. As I started the show off tonight saying, I feel it. You know, there's something to be said, too. The last time, and I've told you this, The last time I felt like this was the Thursday night show the night before, 20 minutes before LSU was going to go play in Ole Miss. That Thursday night, I knew LSU wasn't going to lose. They weren't going to lose. Didn't matter. Ole Miss could have run an NFL team out there. It wouldn't have mattered. You just weren't going to lose that night. I could feel it. Something in my gut is telling me that this is drastically going to work. To everybody in the administration now, let's talk about the realistic nature of this. To everyone inside of that administration, you must back him at every single corner, because it's not just you don't hire Kyle Williams to say to yourself, he's got to be the one to come in here and fix it. Everybody has got to have their hands on this and helping him in the recruiting piece. Developmental piece, I'm fine. Now, the question that I've gotten from a lot of people today, well, Blake, this is kind of a downgrade from Bo Davis. I got to be real with you. Bo Davis ain't do shit at LSU, and that's the truth. That's the truth. I had a lot of faith in Bo Davis that he would be able in years to be able to develop. I have just as much, if not more. Again, logic out the window. I could be wrong here. Kyle Williams is the man. He is the man for this. So we'll break all that down here tonight. All right. So obviously, you know that we're going to talk about Kyle Williams after we get out of the break here. More in detail of what we think. We'll get into the LSU baseball weekend, do a small preview. North Alabama, I will tell you, was scrappy against some SEC foes, but this past weekend really had a tough one. So we'll preview that. And then we'll get to your phone calls. We're going to take live call-ins here tonight. All right. Everybody do us a favor. Hit the like and share. I don't know. I was going to go to Curtis, but Curtis, okay, Blake. Curtis, I don't know what that means. I love it. Curtis, go to our show last night. What did I say? He would be able to develop the room. I worry about him in recruiting, and I will tell you why I worry about the recruiting. If you're going to hire him, you got to back him. If you're going to hire him, you're going to back him. LaVore Lee says solid hire, home run, possibly, that bleeds purple and gold. Very true. Very true. Nobody loves this place more than that guy. Got a lot of people in here. Chad, Keith, a lot of others. KJ, Alexander, Swamp Coon. A lot of people like it. A lot of people like it. So we'll talk about it. Curtis, Bo didn't have anything to work with. He had a 5-star defensive lineman that he couldn't put on the field. I mean, true. You're right. He didn't have anything to work with. But you told me everyone said it's a home run hire. Guys, the reality has got to set in that he didn't do shit here. I mean, that is a fact. He did nothing here. Literally nothing. What did he do? What did he do? The first chance he got, he ran from you. Anyway, all right. Let's get to it here. Everybody do us a favor by hitting the like and share. Share to all those groups. If you're on Twitter and to all those social media pages, you're watching us, listening to us on YouTube. Like, subscribe, notification bell, wherever you listen to podcasts. Rate, review, and subscribe. We got a lot to discuss. Let's get to this Kyle Williams thing. We'll get to some LSU baseball. And you know what? For a lot of part of this show, we're going to take your phone calls on what you think at the end here. Let me get to this break. We'll come back. We'll discuss it next. Stay with us. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way for you to wager on all of your favorite sports, contests, events with the first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews for all the news for each league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, college sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all of your sports information for live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head on over to BetOnline today and use your mobile device to join and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50. That's BELIEVE50, BLEAV 50 to receive your 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's betonline.ag. Betonline.ag.
He will sell your house and find you a new. Well, Tyler's the man, he's here for you. If you want to buy or sell, well, it's not too late. Dial 955-0008. Just call 955-0008. Y'all call Tyler, he'll shoot you straight.
We're back.
All right. Let's get moving here. We got lots and lots and lots to discuss. So, Kyle Williams is set to be, or expected to be, I should say, but it's happening. Kyle Williams will be your next defensive line coach at LSU. There's a lot of things that you and I need to break down on that. Number one, I do really like the hire, as I opened up in the opening monologue, for reasons that, from a national perspective, when you see a hire like this, logically, you're going to be like, well, that might not be a good hire for LSU. Based off of what we know as Tiger fans, what Kyle's done the last 4 years, yes, at a high school, yes, at Ruston High School, what he has done, who he's been, the games that he's played in the NFL, being a national champion here, the things that he has overcome to be where he's at. The question that I think that I want to know for sure, what happened in that meeting for Brian Kelly to be like, we're shutting it down. Like, this dude impressed us enough. Brian Kelly impressed us enough. We need to bring him in. Here's what I know for a fact. Yesterday, Kyle Williams came in for an interview. I heard after that interview, it was over. It was over. Which tells me a couple of things. It tells me, number one, LSU did their part of selling it. But number two, that Kyle Williams, for what it's worth, did something in that interview to make Brian Kelly, Scott Woodward, who is in that building every day, Austin Thomas, Frank Wilson, and others, to shut this thing down. Here's what I believe that you're going to get in Kyle Williams. First and foremost, you go into a room that's very versatile right now, but you also go into a room right now that's very volatile. In that volatility, you have a guy that none of those guys in that defensive line room can look at Kyle Williams, especially with the recent past history, that this guy is not just a guy, but that he's a flat-out dude. He played 183 games in the NFL. He had 48.5 sacks with 103 tackles for loss. 103 tackles for loss in a 13-year career. 2 of those, by the way, he got injured in. So 11 full seasons, he had 103 tackles for loss. 5 seasons with double-digit tackles for loss, statistically. And he had a year in 2013 where he had 10.5 sacks. No one in that interior defensive line room has been, but does have the potential to be, a lot like what this guy can be. Guys, quite frankly, from a pro aspect, and even from Kyle Williams' time at LSU, playing in 46 games, starting in 33 of them, having 16.5 sacks as an interior defensive lineman. Guys, you're learning from one of the best to ever do it at LSU, period. Point blank. Kyle does not have the entire defensive line room, just so everybody understands that. Kevin Peoples heads the edge unit. He is coaching interior defensive tackles. A 41-year-old guy that went here, bled here, loved it here. Now he gets to teach the knowledge to the guys and to the people that are now through their journey at LSU. In the 4 years that Kyle Williams spent at Ruston, here's what I know personally as a fact. That entire program, especially defensively, developed overnight. It wasn't because they didn't have good kids. It wasn't because they didn't have good players. He was a big part of the development and what you needed to do. Got guys like Ahmad Bro. You'll have guys like Aiden Anding who will come in here and be a critical piece when he continues to be developed. In reference to the interior defensive tackle, there were the three things that you needed. Let's focus on them. I think that Kyle, in his own way, has shown that he's taken a place, developed it to something that was really special. There's nobody in LSU's room right now, even more than Bo Davis, that knows the game of football more than Kyle Williams. No one. He's literally been there at the highest level doing what he did. I do think the technique, I do think the philosophy, I think the overall awareness goes up. I think that you, in some aspects, Bo Davis is great at what he does. There will be some aspects that Kyle Williams will be able to translate and get through to kids in a more relatable fashion and speak their language on what they need to do in certain situations. I think this is a developmental piece home run from a guy that you can sit there and learn from. There's not going to be more people who can tell you and teach you about defensive line and the defensive line room than him. Now, I know where a lot of you want to go with this. There are some questions. Like, Blake, it's a massive leap going from high school to LSU. We just did it with Robert Steeples. I mean, I guess technically you could say we hire a guy in Kevin Falk. Then, yeah, he was at LSU for a little while before he became the running backs coach. But at the same token, it was his first time really doing this. That is true. There are just things for me at the current moment that I don't know that if I can explain. Because I don't think that you have had a more technical guy that can develop interior defensive tackles more than this. I know it sounds like a hot take, but guys, you cannot replace 183 games in the NFL. You just cannot do it. Bo Davis has been around a long time. When Bo Davis was coaching in the 13 years away from LSU, when Kyle Williams left, Bo Davis pretty much left. They were around the same time. One guy was coaching it, another guy was actually playing it and developing it and being the most consistent LSU Tiger defensive tackle in modern history. Guys, he is, let's call it what it is. He is the best interior defensive tackle that you've had in modern history. That is who he is. There are levels of concern. We just mentioned the high school jump to college. The only thing that I can say is, man, you might want to familiarize yourself with what was happening at Ruston and how bad things had gotten. He felt like he needed to step in. He did. And quite frankly, he made that place a powerhouse. The truth was, I've seen Kyle multiple times. Got to see him at Denham, about a year ago? No, not even a year ago. What? Maybe 6 months ago. Whenever Rustin came down to Denham, got to have a conversation. Coach, your D-line's doing the Ahmad Bro senior year. So that was over a year ago. The Ahmad Bro senior year, because he was a menace. His whole defensive line was fantastic. He developed a lot of really good kids. Quite frankly, he developed a kid that started for you in 7 games in Ahmad Bro, who had no business playing in the interior defensive tackle room, had no business being a 3-tech. Kid held his own when he needed to. I just, for whatever reason, the worry for me, it's not there because I've seen him develop guys in high school. And I think that, God, it's going to, well, Blake, this is college. This isn't high school. I get it. I mean, listen, man, I just, the dude basically was, I mean, at the end of his career, they called him the coach. The dude was always there for these young players. I just feel like it's in his nature to be great here. It's in his nature. I understand the level of concerns that a lot of you are going to have because I have them too. It's always going to be in the back of my mind like, man, it is risky in the sense of this guy's never coached in college. He's never coached in the NFL. I get it. All of that is risky. I just, for me at the current moment, I got to go with my gut here. I'm not going to go with my brain. I'm not going to go with history. I'm not going to go with logic because the logic would tell you that you should be skeptical. I'm going against it. I'm going to go with my gut. I think Kyle can be the guy that turns this around. I hope this, for what it's worth, I hope that he's here for multiple years. For you need consistency more than anything at that position. More than anything. What can he do with guys like Don McKinley, Ahmad Bro, Sadir Mitchell, and others? What does Tank Gillard? What does Sean Washington do? Can he develop that room? Because quite frankly, guys, that room did not get better last year. It didn't get better. There was no developmental piece from anybody. None. Zero. There is an area of concern if I did have one, though. It is recruiting. It's not that I don't think that Kyle Williams can go into a living room and sit down with a kid and say, well, listen, kid, I just got done playing in the NFL. I played there for 13 years. I had 50 sacks in the NFL. I had 103 tackles for loss. I had a season in 2013 where I had double-digit sacks as an interior defensive lineman. I was the core of Buffalo when they started turning things around before Josh Allen really got there and got going. You're going to have to back him financially. You're going to have to back him and help him rebuild that room. You do not make a hire like Kyle Williams because of the recruiting piece of it. You hire Kyle Williams because of who he is, and you know that guy's got a lot of knowledge and that can help develop that room. You got to go and get big-name dudes. Let him develop those big-name dudes. Go out there and drop your cojones. Go do what Texas did. Well, Blake, we can't pay a high school kid that much money out of high school. Well, then you don't have trust in your developmental piece. You don't have trust in your scouting department if you don't want to go out there and pay a kid from high school that can help lead you to a championship. Again, I'm going to throw this out there. Speaking of Texas, they did that with Colin Simmons. Colin Simmons in the playoffs wrecked things. You got to do that with Kyle. Now, the interior is a tougher place to do that in, and I am with you. Last time that we saw a freshman bona fide do what he did was him. We thought it'd be Mason Smith. It wasn't. It was Kyle Williams. This has got to be it. What I'm saying here from a recruiting, everybody wants to come in here and say, Blake, I'm worried about Kyle Williams in recruiting. I'm with you. I'm with you. I understand what you're trying to say, but here's the truth. It is not on Kyle Williams alone to recruit that room. Everybody, Brian Kelly included, everybody has got to have their hands in that room recruiting. Austin Thomas, Preston Tiffany, analysts, scouts, GMs, doesn't matter who it is. You have to help him rebuild that room and rebuild the talent in that room to get back to where you need to be. Because I promise you, If you do that for him, he's going to develop that room at a very high level. I feel it. You can't spare anything. It's a kid in North Louisiana. Go get him. Who gives a Rudy Poo? If you like him, if he can play here, if he's an LSU guy, go get him. If he's not, then that's another story. You got one on your campus in Lamar Brown. Go get him. Who's the next big defensive tackle that's out there? Let's go get him. Who's the number 2 guy on our big board right now? Go get him. It's not on Kyle Williams alone. I do think that you can get the consistency piece here, which was probably the biggest piece that you needed. Guys, you've had 8 defensive line coaches in 10 years. In 5 years. 8. This marks 8. You needed the consistency. The recruiting piece, if you do not recruit well the defensive tackle room, don't come up into here. Do not come off into here saying that, well, Blake, he couldn't recruit. Because here's the truth. You went out and got one real DB at corner. You went and got other guys from in-state. I got that. I think that was more other people on staff than maybe Corey. You backed this DJ Pickett thing with money when you did it. That is the truth. A truth. You got to do that with Kyle. Guys, the game of recruiting is about relationships and will always be about relationships. Relationships don't mean shit when that money starts flying. It doesn't. Not in today's world. Guys, don't trust me. Trust the number 1 defensive tackle in last year's class, Justice Terry. And what did he say? I'm a Georgia Bulldog. He told on 3. I am a Georgia Bulldog. I wanted to be a Georgia Bulldog, but the truth was I had to make a business decision. Texas offered me a lot more money than Georgia did. And I said, okay. Well, 2 teams that just played in the SEC championship game. And before you say anything about Texas, they've been to back-to-back Final Fours, and you have not made it to a playoff. So they went out and spent the money to get where they needed to be. You got to do it here. I know a lot of you are going to think it's a risky hire. You're not going to get that from me here. You're just not going to. I understand and will probably hear a lot of your concerns when we take phone calls. And if you disagree with it, if you disagree with the hire, I highly suggest that you call into the show. Now, if you're doing it on rewatch, if we're rewatching the show, even if you're drunk, y'all know how many people call at the end of the shows? Like, they'll call it like 10:30. Hey, man, I was watching the show. And just wanted to tell you, I wanted to give you my opinion on it. Are we live? Like, I'll be doing something in my office here, and they're calling. I'm like, all right, I'm going to answer it. Now that phone's going to keep buzzing all damn day. I think the reward ultimately is going to outweigh the risk. But let me ask you all this question first, though. Let me ask you all this, though. Well, let me ask a reasonable question. I'm going to go ahead and ask it. What do you expect from Kyle Williams in year 1 anyway? A lot of you were willing to give Bo Davis a mulligan year until he can really start developing guys. You're not going to do the same thing for Kyle Williams? Because you need the consistency here. If you're going to say that Bo Davis didn't have anything, then what are you going to say about Kyle Williams? This is not an instant, going to come in here and fix every single thing. Give Kyle 3 years and it's going to work. I'm telling you it's going to work. All right. We do have a super chat in here. Alexander Taylor says, I wonder if he goes after a portal DT. I don't think that he will. I don't think that he will. I mean, he could levy for it. He could levy for it. He could go to Austin and say, hey, man, I really like this guy. Can I go get him? I don't know. We're going to see. And before you say, hey, why would he go to Austin? Why wouldn't he go to BK? You know what I mean by that. He ain't going to BK to say, hey, what's the money here? Guys, head coaches aren't GMs. They're not doing the money deals. They're leaving it up to GMs, all of them. Kirby confirmed that today at his press conference. Or yesterday, whatever it was. Do I think he should? Yeah. I do think that you should always be in the market for a defensive tackle. Always. And if it works, it works. It doesn't, it doesn't. Now, there is something here. I do wonder, Jamari Butler. I do wonder what's going to happen there. We'll see. LGZ says this is going to be our Brian Hartline hire. Our good friend LGZ. It very well could, man. And that's a good point. Brian Hartline worked out something very similar. Very similar. Brian Hartline has turned himself into the best recruiter of all time. Per them. Jeezy, I'll say this. Some of you know that I have a very solid connection at Ohio State. Brother, the money that they spend behind Brian Hartline at receiver is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Brian Hartline might be the best. No, not might be. Brian Hartline is the best wide receivers coach in the country. This has worked before. Listen, man. Listen. I'm going to go this side of the player here. There's no way that you're going to convince me that Bo Davis knows more about DT play than Kyle Williams. You're not going to do it. You are not going to convince me of that. Coaching a position and playing the position for the same amount of years when you've been coaching through your career. Spare me, man. Spare me. Now, does Bo have like a scouting thing on him? I'm sure he does. I'm sure he does. More knowledge of how the game works, contacts, resources, sure. But when it comes to playing defensive tackle, nobody ain't gonna happen. And I think the same thing happened with Brian Hartline. True Louisianimal 337 says, I love this hire. Good to hear. Holden Lee says, Jamari Butler is an edge guy, though. What do you mean by that? He's not an edge guy. Not the way that you're going to line him up. So think about it like this. I do think Jamari Butler there will be instances, Holden, where he's going to be lined up on the outside in certain situations when it dictates it. If you go back and watch his Nebraska film, he's lined up technically as a 3-tech. So he's an edge guy. He's like your Savion Jones. Savion Jones wasn't on the exterior. He was on the interior. Basically, you're glorifying a pass rusher that's a tweener to go in the 3-tech on certain situations and rush the passer. Be a little more upfield and chaotic. You try to do it with Savion Jones, and the truth is that he was too bulky to be that position. What Blake Baker did at Missouri was that he would have a very athletic guy play the 3-tech. So if you get in a 2nd and 7, there would be a situation that you're instantly rotating, putting that guy there, and you're rushing the passer, and you're willing to give up a rushing lane. It's what they did the most. Now, if you remember, they tried to do that against Jaden Daniels, and he absolutely exposed Baker on doing that. So there are certain situations that it dictates it. Jamari Butler's more of your Savion Jones. Well, Savion Jones played the 5 technique. Yeah, he might be an edge, but on every and most downs, he's going to be head up to the 3-tech. That in and of itself, is going to be what he does. So you can call him an edge guy. I mean, when you're going to line up in that 5 technique over the head of the tackle or more shaded into that 3 technique on the inside of it, I mean, I'm just not gonna fight over the semantic of that. But you want to fight edge, interior guy, what they do there in that position. Look, I'll tell you this: during run game last year, during practice, Savion Jones was with the interior guys. They 100% were in. He was 100% with the interior guys in run drill. Alexander Taylor says, I think Bro and McKinley in year 2 is more talented than Piaz and Guillory. Listen, do not sleep on Sadir Mitchell now. Don't do it. What do you do with a 355-pound, 360-pound nose tackle? Is he just going to get moved? Right? Like, I mean, what happens with him? Don McKinley, we need to hit. He's got to hit. He's got to hit. You got to develop him to be a really good defensive tackle. If Kyle Williams comes in here and makes something of Don McKinley, and I hope Don McKinley just takes all of it in. Pause. But I hope that he takes all of this coaching in. There are some chances that you have some good players here. You got to develop him. You got to develop them. You got to develop them. I mean, guys, I'll keep saying it. It's your biggest position of need right now. Oh, this is feisty. Rob says, Bo was a shitty hire. It was a waste of money and time. I mean, listen. I don't want to say it was a bad hire because Bo Davis is still a fantastic defensive line coach. I don't think Bo had the energy at the end, especially when it came to recruiting. And I do not believe, and I think Bo was fine. Bo was fine. He just needed, I mean, you need somebody that needed to develop that room. And I think you would have been fine there. In reference to the reality of his career at LSU the 1 year, that's what sucks. Because you're right. Rob is right. We didn't get shit from it. So, yeah. I saw a question about Trey Holly in there. The case is like July 14th or something. Something of that nature. So, yeah. All right. Let me get to a quick break. We'll come back. We'll preview a little bit of baseball for the weekend here against North Alabama. Then we'll take some of your phone calls. Let me get to the break. Stay with us. Guys, I want to talk to you about our good friends over the Drake Williams Law Firm and Drake Title Company. Are you facing tough times due to an injury from a car accident, navigating the complexities of divorce, or purchasing a new home? At the Drake Williams Law Firm and Drake Title Company, they understand the challenges you're going through, and they are here to help. The lawyer team of Ernie Drake III, Ryan J. Williams, and Summer Vignair, along with Morgan Daniels, have the experience and proven track record to give you that peace of mind. Give them a call today at 985-386-7600. That's 985-386-7600 to schedule a free consultation at their brand new office located in historic downtown Ponchatoula. They're also doing a special, the AYS special. If you're refinancing or closing on a home in Southeast Louisiana, request the Drake Title Company to handle your closing. If you mention Blake Ruffino and AYS, you're going to receive a $400 discount on title fees. Again, give them a call at 985-386-7600. Let them know that Blake Ruffino sent you on by. Guys, you might know my good friend Carol Falls and all the great service that he provides over at State Farm. He is your good neighbor after all. But did you know State Farm has surprisingly great rates as well? Along with the great neighbor service, State Farm agent Carol Falls has surprisingly great rates for everyone inside the state of Louisiana. So call him today at 985-395-4300, 985-395-4300 for all of those surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life insurance needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, and individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to the State Farm underwriting requirements. You know, it is draft season. I always keep forgetting. All right. Let me get to this, too. So Shea Dixon is reporting that Kyle Williams has officially signed his paperwork to be the LSU defensive line coach. Good. Listen, I went through the comments when y'all were I went through the comments during the break there. Guys, I don't know. Everybody's against all logic. People will snooker at it. They'll say stuff about it. I'm giving him the chance. Here's the thing, though. Kobe. Buckets. Damn, I just made that. I never make them either. I got a trash can right here in the corner. Buckets, Kobe. Never make them. Just made one. It's like your boy's clutch, like I'm Stephen Milam. The most baller thing that you can do if you're LSU is for you to go out there, hire Kyle Williams. Oh, man, I don't know about this recruiting thing with him. Guys, NIL, collective, rev share. Go get a dude. Lock down Lamar Brown. Lock down your boy Berryman up north. Go get one of the best defensive tackles, one of these 5 stars. Get in the race for him. Say, hey, man, we're going to give you X amount of money to come here. Go do it. Everybody shut up. And you know what? Just to shut everybody up, the good thing that you got out of it, you got a playmaker at DT. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, what about this and that? And what about the perception of what people think we're spending on money? You can't worry about that shit right now. You got to worry about winning. And when you go out there and you win and you get good players to come in here, ain't nobody going to say shit. They're going to forget about their tweets in 5 months. You can't, 5 months, 5 minutes. You can't worry about what the perception's going to be. Go get great players. Everybody's got to be involved. Let him develop them. You're going to a natty. That's it. That is it. Put $1 million down on somebody and say, we are going to the playoff. We are going to a national title, and it's over. Guys, you clean up. You allow half of the 257 rushing yards in these big SEC games, you're going to win every game. Let me repeat myself. LSU cuts down the 257 rushing yards that they're giving up in these SEC losses per game. Garrett Nussmeier and this offense will lead you to a national title. Bank on it. The question is can you get to half? Can you allow only 130 to 150 rush yards per game? You do that, you're going to let me not say national title. You're going to a playoff. I promise you. Even with the turnovers, even with the bad play calling selection in the red zone at times, you're going to go. You can be that talented. Go get them. You can't keep making the excuse, this coach, that coach. Go get players, and you got the consistency. Go help the man. Let's go be great. All right. You know what I did here? No, I didn't. I thought I ripped out my note paper for my notes. When I did the Kobe, I thought I ripped out the wrong paper. All right. LSU faces North Alabama this weekend. North Alabama is coming into the weekend 3-8. In those losses, they have losses to Auburn, who was 6-2 final, by the way. That one was a little bit closer than the experts. Auburn just had a big inning there in the 8th. Tennessee, they lost 7-5. Tennessee, who's undefeated in the midweek, they went in there and almost upset them. The problem for North Alabama is they went up against what could be classified as trending mid-major in UAB. UAB's got one loss in the season, if I'm not mistaken, and UAB swept them. 4-1 was a final on Friday, 1-0. They got shut out by UAB on a Saturday, and then on Sunday they lost 10-2. Have a little bit of a trend of not being able to score runs, but they've gone to get some big opponents. They'll go up against you now in a weekend series. They can throw it a little bit. Play really good defensively in moments. Like they had a kid, their center fielder that was on SportsCenter like 2 weeks ago. I Googled North Alabama baseball, and I saw the highlight. Like he went up the fence, had amazing catch against Tennessee. Team can throw it and play defense a little bit. Just have had a very tough time at the plate. UAB's not been a bad team. So that's a little bit about your opponent. The thing that I want to focus on here before we get to phone calls is simple. The last 6 games, you scored 60-plus runs. In those games and in those runs that you've scored, I mean, guys, if I would have told you, hey, early in the season, LSU would go through their stretch, DBU, and then they'll go against Kansas State, Nebraska, and then they'll play in 2 midweek games versus NDSU, and I would have said, hey, you're going to average more than 10 runs a game. You would have said, okay, well, then it means Jared Jones got going. That means that Stephen Milam and Danny Dickinson and all those guys, Derek Curiel panned out. Well, looks like it's happening. So stay to who you are. I do hope that you come out a little bit quicker than you have been. It's taken LSU a couple at bats to get going at the plate, but once they get going, man, they get going. It's tough to stop that momentum. Once they see you a couple of times and they get into that bullpen, their approach has been that they're going to be aggressive when they need to be. They're going to get in the flow of the game. But keep stacking these wins, man. I mean, listen, baseball is baseball. North Alabama can go out there in a weekend against UAB and get swept. Come in here and upset you a game. It could happen. It's baseball. Things can happen. But I do think it's a team that you easily could come in here and you could stack those wins and you could get a sweep. Just be yourself. Continue to stay hot and continue to do what you're doing. Jay Johnson last night did say that about Gavin Guidry. I know Kendall put this out there today. He could be back for the Missouri series. We'll see what's going on there. Apparently a back injury per Kendall. So we'll see there. I'm staying away from it. Final thing. Last weekend before you go into SEC play, Missouri's not a good baseball team. So you kind of get a tune in going into the SEC. But, man, you come out and you start stacking these wins the way that you are. You start getting into more of the halfway point of the season. You're going to be coming up on that soon. Guys, only, 3 weeks. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but, man, I mean, by the end of the month here, you're going to be damn near halfway, if not exceeding halfway through the season. It's going to fly by. Just keep stacking them, man. I think you're hitting a little bit of a groove. Your lineup's been consistently the same of the 10, 11 guys that you will see. I mean, you're playing 11 guys, man. So you might have a pretty good idea of what your roster is going to be till then. I think they're going to sweep. I'm just not – I can't pick them not to at this point. But it is baseball, and anything can happen. All right. Let's do this. Against my better judgment, as I always say when we do these. Against my better judgment, let's get to them, and let's get to it. We'll get to some phone calls here. All right. The phone number to call in, 225-435-9387. 225-435-9387. I'm going to put in the chat for you. You want to call in and tell us what you think of. You can. All right, you're on the phone with Blake Ruffino. This is the AYS show, AYS Sports. What do you think of the hire? Hello, can you hear us?
Yes. I can. How you doing, Blake?
Doing good. How are you? What do you think of the hire of Kyle Williams?
Well, first of all, I'm just going to say this, man. This is the most common sense Grand Slam hire you could ever make. I truly believe that. I don't think there's any question. I love the hire, and I honestly, Blake, I don't know if you make that hire if you're not going to financially support him. I don't. You can't. You've got to help Kyle. I mean, but I just think the experience that he brings to the table, he was an LSU all-time great. I mean, I think that I hope and pray that LSU has solved their coaches at the defensive line for quite a while, because I believe the LSU's defensive line is getting ready to take off, and I'm saying this it's going to look like in a couple of years, like when Saban was here, at the defensive line. What do you mean? Talk to me. What do you think?
Okay, I'm not going to go that far, okay? Like, I think that I'm never going to say that it's going to be like Saban, it's going to be like that. I cannot do that. Do I like the hire from a developmental piece? Yes. I think that my concern of consistency and my concern of development have been answered. Now, that doesn't mean anything if you can't bring guys that can come in here and play. To your point about the Saban thing, I can't do that. But what I can do is say that I don't think it's a Kyle Williams thing alone. I don't think that you can hire him and then say, oh, he fixes the room at any given level. No, you got to go out there and spend the money. So I hope that he does fantastic.
I mean, I think, like I said, just my opinion, if anybody that does not like this hire, they need to be drug tested, not tomorrow, tonight, because I'm just telling you, this is a great hire by LSU and Coach Brian Kelly. I love it. That's my opinion. I'm sure a lot of people disagree. Go Tigers.
Thank you for the phone call.
Y'all have a good night.
Yeah, thank you for the phone call. I appreciate it. All right. That's one for they love it. You can call in and tell us what you think, though. 225-435-9387. 225-435-9387 is the phone call. I did see AK. He says, do you think that we should hire Jamarcus Russell as the OC? Because play caller, do you think it's the same thing? Jamarcus Russell didn't make it through 13 games in the NFL. This guy made it through 13 seasons. Because, no, okay. Let me ask you a question. Do you think that Kyle Williams knows less about football and the interior defensive line than Bo Davis? Show of thumbs. Thumbs up, thumbs down. If you believe that, then I'm sorry. I'm sorry. There's no way that you play damn near close to, because he almost played 200 games in the NFL. Can he recruit? I feel like he can develop. Now, I guess still to the general public, you got to put it to a place where it's like, well, is that the truth? I mean, can he actually do it? We don't know. We haven't seen it. Fair. Have that criticism of him. I'm just not going to do it because I think it's going to work. But it doesn't mean you don't have to go out and get talent. Okay. You can call in if you want. 225-435-9387. But we'll get to some comments here just in case you can. Alexander says no, but I think that they'd hire Fournette when Frank Wilson retires. No, I don't think they do that. This is a special deal. Holden says people got to realize also we're throwing pitchers that won't see much time in SEC play, and playing 10 games in 2 weeks is a lot. So I can see why pitching has been up and down. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. That's fair. 100% fair. True Louisiana says, Jerry counting the days on that or when he becomes DB coach in the immediate future. I don't, if you're probably talking about the Honey Badger. Gus, I think this is still a special ordeal here, right? Like I still feel like that there's a special thing with this one. I don't think that this, like, you're just going to go. I'm not saying Tyron can't do it. I think Tyron could do it. But again, when you make that hire, you can't leave him out there in recruiting. Just can't do it. Cannot do it. Let's see. Rick says Coach Williams' sales pitch was, do you want the revolving door at defensive line coach or to end? Then I'm your man, done deal. Yeah, I mean, that is the good thing. I mean, like, we keep saying, well, where else we're going to go? What else we're going to do? Yeah, because Gerald Chapman knows more about DT play than Kyle Williams. Now, what Gerald Chapman does have is he has a really, really good interior defensive lineman in Caleb Banks. Really good one. Do you have one? Can you mold somebody into being one? That's going to be the question, because God bless it, you need it. God, you need it. Whose fault is it if these guys don't get bigger, faster, stronger? That ain't on Kyle. But I mean, dude was the team leader in his own building. Jerry Zimmerman says Blake's right about recruiting. NIL is recruiting. 100% it's recruiting. 100%. Guys, what was the conversation piece around the kid from St. Aug that left? God bless it. Jakeem Stewart. What was the talking piece around him? He's going to USC because they're going to give him $2 million. That was the rumor. I'm not confirming that. That was the rumor. It was on every message board. Everybody was talking about it. You know the rumor. Okay, well, if that's the case, LSU surely didn't pay it. Clearly. $1 million a year, whatever they wanted to pay him. LSU didn't want to pay it. Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. They wanted to go in the portal. Sounds good. They're going all in. Sounds good. Okay. But on some of these, you got to make the financial commitment. Guys, do you think at the end of the DJ Pickett thing that it didn't come down to money? Come on, guys. Come on. Do y'all really believe that shit? Oh, well, this kid came because he just wanted the relationship. It wasn't like Oregon was offering way so much more money. Guys, come on. Y'all are smarter than that. LSU put their foot down. Good. Thank you for doing what you needed to do. You want me to give you a cookie for every time LSU does it, what they needed to do. We don't have to do that. Go do it. USC must have overpaid. He only played 1 year for varsity football. Sure. Some people believe that Texas did that for Colin Simmons. DA says all this done is BK another free pass again. If he misses the playoffs again, he can and will say we had a new DC and it's going to take another year. Blah blah. Yeah. Ammo Cat 1 says $2 million for a freshman DT is insane. DTs aren't going that much. I mean, the going rate for an edge or a bona fide corner is going to be about $1 million. That's the market. For these bona fide dudes, it's going to be $1 million. Guys, and here's the crazy thing. Here's the nutso thing. Bro, you were literally about to do it for Bryce Underwood. There was a lot of more guaranteed with Michigan, and that's what won it. Guaranteed money beat you out. Now that we kind of taking the gloves off, right? Isn't that the lingo? Taking the gloves off of what really happened there. Now that some time has happened, guaranteed money beat you out. Michigan did it. Good on them. That kid might not ever play it down, and they gave him a lot of guaranteed money. Okay. Good. Sounds good. LSU did a lot. A lot. Oh, God. I mean, what else do you want to do? This isn't a one-year rebuild either. It's a multi-year rebuild. That's why the consistency above recruiting is more than anything. Right now. You can't have the revolving door, man. You got to stop the revolving door first. You keep having a revolving door, you're going to keep getting negatively recruited. Nobody wants to be a DT coach there, man. Nobody. Let Kyle Williams not pan out a year, then you really got a problem. Brother, you get negatively recruited everywhere right now defensively. Everywhere, especially in your own state. So, yeah. Chad says, I'll give that kid 1-2 years to transfer out of USC. Oh, I give him one. I'll give him one. Ammo Cat just saying Peyton and Delane are way better investments. Yeah, they're one-year investments, but yeah, very well could be. But take Jakeem Stewart out of it for a minute. Say that you would have paid Colin Simmons $1 million a year, right? Like, let's have that debate. Knowing what you know now, what would you have done? There's no way in hell that you can look at a Colin Simmons situation and say to yourself that what he did for Texas a year ago, could you have imagined Braden Swinson on one edge and Colin Simmons on another? I mean, it sucks. I'm not going to harp on it, but my opinion is pay it. Because in December, when everybody else is going to the playoff and you're not, it's just, I mean, like, you're going to regret not doing it. I know that. You know that. At least I hope that you know that, because what are you like at the end of the year? Oh, man, we missed the playoff. What could we have done better? Well, we need better players. Well, newsflash. Dylan Stewart, the kid from South Carolina, his deal goes up from $750 a year to $1 million a year. South Carolina paid it. Go look at it. Agreed to the deal, and they posted about it. Hey, we're giving this kid $1 million a year. Back off. All right, sounds good. We're going to back off. And they paid it. South Carolina. It's the going business, man. Here's the thing about NIL. You and I can squabble about it until the crows come home. But it's the reality, and you got to get over that. You got to get over it. It's over and done with. You keep pouting, moaning, and complaining about it. If you are. Now, most of you are not. But if you're the one that still has the debate about it, then like, it's the way of the world, whether you like it or not. And if you just want to sit there, think about it like this. You're Clemson without being Clemson, meaning, oh, well, we'll do it a little bit, but man, we just ain't going to do it like that. Okay, well, sounds good. Well, they're doing it like that, and they came into your stadium and beat you. Cole Adams says, my son played with Kyle at LSU. Great technician and motivator. Yeah, I mean, just look at all the videos, man. Serious motivator. How many times did Rustin go to the state championship game in the 4 years he was there? 4. Deadeye Jed says Kyle Williams to me will be the best hire since Nick Saban. I gave y'all the chance to call in too. No, only one person called in. Damn shame. First time that's ever happened. AK does not like this hire, man. He doesn't like it. Plain Truth says one thing about that NIL, it's not guaranteed money. If the players don't perform, the big checks stop. Pretty much. Pretty much. But if they do perform, everybody's going to want to pay for. Bro, what would happen if Colin Simmons hit the open market today? If Colin Simmons today said, I want $1.5 million a year, are you going to really have the conversation with yourself that you're not going to take the risk? Are you really going to have that conversation with yourself? I'm paying it, dude. It's not my money to pay, but I pay it. I'm really good at spending other people's money. Not impressed, says Joel. I hope he's a success, but 4 years as a high school coach, LSU is not an entry-level position. Joel, I'll just keep repeating what I'm repeating. How about this? What's better? What's worse? 8 coaches in 4 years, or getting a guy that has played in 183 NFL games? I mean, it's like the chicken or the egg conversation I'm having right there. What do you expect from him in year 1? And then, Jerry, you said if he's here for 4 years, brother, that would be an improvement. You have not had a defensive line coach here for more than a year. Bo Davis was your Jamar Cain was your longest tenured LSU defensive line coach. In that, he didn't even make it to the second spring. He didn't even make it. You keep being in the same position. Just getting Kyle Williams into a year 2 is a better situation. All right. Anyway, we'll see y'all tomorrow for the post game. Y'all have a good night. Peace.